Alright, and what is going on, everybody? Quancredible here to bring you the review for Black Clover chapter 257. Now, with this chapter, I mean, a lot of people could, argue that it is kind of dragging a little bit, this fight between Dante and Yami. And I kind of agree and disagree with that. I don't know how exactly I want to word it, but, to me, with 257, with the continuation of Yami and Dante's fight, it's like it isn't really dragging. It just feels like it's paced slow. Of course, I understand it's like a shonen series, like a battle shonen or whatever, but at the same time, it just feels like the fight is progressing step, 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 and by that I mean it's okay, Yami or not Yami, Dante beats up Asta, and then Asta powers up, and then Dante he beats him up again, and then Yami and Dante fight for a little bit, and then Yami and Dante fight for a little bit again, and then Dante powers up, and then I don't know, it doesn't feel, I don't know, it doesn't feel super fluid to me. At least not reading it weekly. Of course, when you read things as they're intended in the volume, 5 to 7 chapters at a time, it flows better or flows differently. But just for me personally, right now, it's just flowing weird right now. The pace is weird. But anyway, the chapter itself was still pretty cool, despite the weird pacing thing that me and a lot of other people had. But the chapter was still cool though. It was still a cool chapter. So it starts off with Yami, just being really Yami about the whole fact that he totally destroyed Dante's entire torso, and in this exact moment, I really think Yami I really think Yami thought he won, cause Yami doesn't really talk trash all like that unless he's pretty confident in it, and this is along the lines of trash talk to me. So I really do think in this exact moment Yami believed he had won. And then Dante starts to have all these thoughts to himself, this is impossible, there's no way a human could possibly defeat me when I'm going all out, or do this to me when I'm trying my hardest or whatever. And he gets a super close up creepy face of Dante. Also, another thing I noticed, side note really fast, last week, if you see my review, you might have noticed I was talking about how the horns were inconsistent, the ones on his forehead. This chapter, Tabata or his editor, whoever was on it, it was fairly consistent throughout the entire time. The horns were on his head every time. So I don't know if they're going to go back and change the last chapter. I highly doubt that. But that was just something I also noticed, that the horn thing is fixed. As far as this chapter goes, it's way more consistent. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can check out my last video, or my last review. But moving on from that, this is when Dante literally starts to regen his entire torso, after it was blown up. But when I seen this immediately made me think, where in the world is magic even stored in Black Clover? Is it stored in your heart or in your brain or just somewhere in your body, or is it just throughout your body? Do not answer me in the comments. I don't want to know. I tweeted this and I got way too many answers saying in the balls. I do not want that. So do not answer my question. I don't want to know where magic is stored, but it just made me think about it. Anyway, another thing that is really crazy here is that Dante, he has a heart. He's still kind of human based and all that. And Yami destroyed that and he was still alive. So my thing with this is Yami is arcane and he still couldn't kill Dante. So it's almost like the body magic is a direct counter to arcane mages, I feel like. Because arcane mages are able to affect and kill devils. That is what they are. That is why they are arcane. They're able to affect devils in the other world, and they're also able to kill devils. So the fact that Yami was not able to do this, despite destroying the heart, is crazy. If he would have did that move on Zagrid would have died, flat out. Obviously Zagrid is weaker. Obviously, there's no debating that. Zagrid is without a doubt weaker than Dante is, at least to me. But even if you hit a devil with an extremely powerful attack, which are not arcane, and they have the ability to heal, they can just come back. So it doesn't matter. But the fact that Yami is arcane, he was able to do this. It's insane to me. It's almost how do you beat Dante is kind of my thinking. You'd almost have to negate his ability to use body magic and then kill him, which is totally something Asta, I guess, could do in theory, which is probably why Asta is matched up with him. But that was just a crazy thing I was thinking about when I was reading it. And then after this, Dante gets his huge beefed up, jacked up form where he's just massive, and this is I was kind of feeling that his other 80% form, like his when he first went 80%, was kind of meh. But at the same time, like I know how these things go. I knew he was going to get another form, and I know in my mind that he probably has another form past this. Dante probably gets, he's probably going to get like two more forms. That's just how Shonen works. I already know he's going to get like more forms. Anybody that thinks this is Dante's final form has clearly not seen any memes on the internet at all. This is not even my final form. Come on now. Anyway, he's way more jacked. He's fighting Yami still, and he's throwing like everything at Yami. He has his huge new body. He still has rocks. There's still more than likely passive gravity out here, and his singularities. So like, it's not even fair. Like, and that's another thing Dante's talking about. He's like, Yami, your skills in battle and your instincts all surpass mine, but just the fact that you can't kill me means you're gonna lose. And it's just like, Dante's right. This isn't fair. Like he says, that there are things in life that are not fair, and this is one of them. And it's just like, dang, he is right. He is 100% right here. And another cool thing here is that Dante even notes that Yami's, skill and techniques and instincts surpass his. So like, I don't exactly know how other people may take this, but to me, I take it as if Dante didn't have tons of healing and regen, Yami could beat him in a fight. But since he does, he can't. Yami did say a couple of chapters ago that his ability to like, not really see into the future, but predict attacks was not on Julius's level. I'll put up the exact panel because I don't know the exact wording, but like with this, it makes me think that since Yami's levels of that kind of stuff surpass Dante's, that in turn Julius's would also surpass Dante. I know there's lots of people that believe that Julius isn't really all that strong just because he lost to Partry, but that's like an entirely separate video that I could talk about on why I disagree with that entirely, and still think Julius would wreck a lot of people currently in the series. But like I said, that's a totally separate video in itself. But yeah, so like just from reading that, we could definitely assume that at the very least, Julius's like instincts and perceptions would be ahead of Dante's as well. Just like a side thing that I thought about. But anyway, it's through this when Yami's like more or less just slowly losing, because that's all it is. It's just a slow lose or a slow burn to a loss. He realized, hey, I can't beat this dude, and I'm gonna need your help. And he calls for Asta, and he actually calls his name. And a lot of people were saying, oh my gosh, this is the first time Yami called Asta by his name. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. And I'm not gonna hold you, I did not believe anybody when they were saying this. I was like, nah, he's definitely called him by his name before. And then I went and checked, like I went through like a lot of chapters between Asta and Yami interactions, and this is actually really the first time he called him by his name. Like I went all the way back to in the exams, when he was introducing Asta to the Black Bulls, when him and Julius, when they got the mission to go to the Underwater Sea Temple, at Star Festival, like he legit only calls him Shrimp, Boy, whatever. Like he does not call him by his name. So this actually really was the first time he called him by his name, which is crazy. It's almost like Yami's like serious, or as serious as Yami can be. And then of course Asta, he gets up or whatever, and they're like side by side with that last panel. That last shot is kind of dope. They're just side by side with their swords, and like books are open, cloaks are on the other shoulders and all that. It looked pretty dope. One thing I did notice, I'm pretty sure a lot of you notice, Asta is in his black form, but it's a very sad black form. Like this is the weakest black form we've seen. Like Asta's black form is supposed to take up his whole arm and up to his shoulder and like go up on his eye. Like at the very least, that's what it's supposed to do. But this is like, this black form is even like less than the original time he winted back in the Witch's Forest. So yeah, this is a very sad black form. I don't quite know exactly what he can do here. So, and then the chapter ends, like, our standard 15 pages that we've been getting for a while now. So like, from here, I'm not really for sure what could happen. Like when I said this last week, I thought that this week we would get kind of a bit more progression, which is why I said the pacing was off. Because like if you look last week, Yami and Dante fought, and Yami landed a critical blow on Dante. And then this week, it's just Yami and Dante fought, but Dante healed and Asta stood up. So it's like a lot didn't happen. It wasn't a lot of movement there. So next week, I really think we're at like a more of a pivotal plot point, and one of the things that I think Asta being back into the fight is kind of going to be worse for Yami in that aspect. Like whereas like Dante could threaten to kill Asta or do something to Asta that will prompt Yami to allow himself to get captured. Two, Asta could be about to get hit by like a really crazy fatal blow, and not Asta, but Yami will take it for him or move him out of the way and get critically injured and then be captured. What else? Another thing that could totally happen is this next chapter we get the kind of the same thing that happened last chapter, where we get an entire chapter of now Yami and Asta fighting together and they land a critical blow just for Dante to heal. The chapter after that, and then it's like, so I really hope that one doesn't happen. I really hope that they don't just fight together next chapter and land a critical blow and then the chapter ends. Oh, that would just be like the worst possible. Like, it wouldn't be worst in terms of story, but in terms of like progression, it would just be the worst. Cause like, oh my gosh, can we just like get past this Yami and Dante stuff? Not like I want, and like I don't want you guys to misunderstand me. Like I want this to be over fast. I just want it to like flow better. That's it. That's totally it for me. I mean, if you think it's flowing fine, more power to you. More power to you. But me, it's kind of dragging a little bit. Those are things that are probably going to happen next week. I mean, could someone drop in and save them? It's possible. Doubt it. Like, could it be? I know a lot of people were, even like, and myself included, were hoping Zora and Magna would pop in the Heart Kingdom. But could they possibly pop in here? Maybe. I doubt they'd be any help, but they could maybe pop in. Because like I said last week, we're really at the point where Yami is more than likely going to get captured. It just would make the most sense. I mean, it would make sense for all the heroes to be utterly defeated, and then the devils kind of, or not the devils, but like the actual Spade Kingdom kind of gets their goal, and and then they have to train again to kind of beat them. So it would just make more sense story-wise for Yami to get captured, in my opinion. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought of the chapter down below. I really want to know how you guys feel about the pacing of it. Like, do you guys feel like we're moving at a decent speed, or do you guys feel like we're moving a little bit slow? Now, like I said at the beginning of the video, please bear in mind that I understand that once you read it in a volume, how it's like more or less intended to be read, it flows better. Like in my experience reading manga in volumes, for me, it flows better. So like that's why I kind of think it's the intended way it's like meant to be read. So like, let me know how you guys think it's being paced right now. Do you guys think it's slow? Do you guys think it's fine? Do you guys think, like me, if it was in a volume, it'd flow better? Or do you guys think it should just flow well weekly and it is or isn't? I am curious about that. Let me know what you guys think is going to happen down below for next chapter. As well as like how you feel about the whole Yami and Asta team up. Like I said, I think it's really cool. I don't really know how much of a help Asta is going to be, considering, you know, Asta couldn't even do anything to 60% Dante when Dante was only using his bare hands. So like, it's just one of those. I don't really know how much help he's going to be against a significantly stronger Dante. Also, that Julius thing I was talking about, I want to know you guys' opinion on that. I need to know if you guys think Julius could still wreck some people. I'm curious about that as well. But I guess that's it for the things I want to know from you guys. I got some cool stuff planned for this week. Hopefully everything falls through and I can get it off so you guys can show. It's kind of a secret, kind of. You might get an update on that earlier this week. But aside from that, just make sure you guys like and sub to the video, and I will catch you guys next time.